Wellness Rhythm Show. Find your rhythm. Live your wellness.
Y'all, I turned 38 this year, and I did what any completely normal person does on their birthday. I fell down a research rabbit hole about longevity at midnight.
That is genuinely one of the more relatable things you've said.
Right? And what I kept finding was this jaw-dropping study out of Sweden. Researchers tracked over 1,000 people for 55 years. Not a survey, not a 2-week experiment. 55 years.
The Gothenburg H70 birth cohort study started in 1970, and it's still generating findings today. And what it reveals about what actually predicts a long, healthy life is, frankly, not what most people expect.
Which is exactly why we're here today. Because if you've ever wondered whether all the effort is actually worth it, this episode is for you. Whether you're juggling toddlers or grandkids, this one matters.
Right, let's unpack the study first. The H70 cohort, run out of the University of Gothenburg, enrolled people born in 1901 and 1902, then continued with newer birth cohorts. It's one of the longest-running population health studies in the world. What makes it special is the comprehensiveness. They measured physical health, mental health, social connection, lifestyle, you name it.
And here's the thing, though. When you look at the results, the predictors of long, healthy life are not ranked the way the wellness industry would have you believe.
Precisely. Physical activity comes up consistently, yes. But the strongest predictor in the cohort data, the one that keeps surfacing across multiple analyses, is social connection. Not supplements, not biohacking, relationships.
Okay, can we just sit with that for a second? Because I think a lot of us are out here buying expensive protein powders and tracking our sleep scores, and the data is pointing at our friendships.
Right, here's what I've learned. The H70 researchers found that social isolation in midlife was associated with significantly higher rates of cognitive decline and earlier mortality. Dr. Ingmar Skog, who leads the neuropsychiatric components of the study, has repeatedly highlighted this in published findings.
And this lines up with Robert Waldinger's work, right? The Harvard Study of Adult Development, which is another multi-generational longevity study. Over 80 years of data.
Correct. Waldinger and Mark Schultz published their summary findings in The Good Life in 2023. Their conclusion was almost identical. The quality of your relationships at midlife is a better predictor of healthy aging than cholesterol levels.
Which is both incredibly comforting and slightly terrifying, depending on your social calendar.
Ha, quite. But let's be clear about what social connection means in this research. It's not about being an extrovert or having 100 friends. It's about having at least a few relationships with genuine depth and reliability.
That distinction is everything. I'm a solid introvert hiding behind a podcast microphone, so hearing that quality beats quantity, that actually changes how I think about where I spend energy.
This brings us to what the H70 study found about physical activity, which is still enormously important. Regular moderate exercise, what they classified as walking, cycling, or similar activity for at least 30 minutes most days, was independently associated with reduced cardiovascular disease and dementia risk.
So not run a marathon or you've failed, just move consistently. I feel like we've all heard that, but seeing it confirmed across 55 years of data hits differently.
It does change the weight of it. And importantly, the benefits of physical activity in the study held up even when people started in their 60s and 70s. It is genuinely never too late to begin.
Y'all, that is the sentence I needed to hear. And I'm guessing a lot of our listeners in the sandwich generation or our pre-retirees needed that too.
Now here's where it gets nuanced, and I want to flag this because I think it matters. The H70 study also identified that the relationship between health behaviors and outcomes is highly individual. Genetics play a real role. Socioeconomic circumstances play a real role. We should not frame this as if you just do the right things, you'll live to 100.
And thank you for saying that, because I have a real tension with longevity content that implies it's all within your control. Some people do everything right and still face serious illness. The science supports habits and acknowledges luck and circumstance.
Exactly. What the research gives us is a shift in probability, not a guarantee. And that's still enormously valuable. You're playing better odds, not eliminating risk.
Okay, let's talk about something that genuinely surprised me in reviewing this topic, which is the role of purpose, because that kept coming up alongside social connection.
Yes. The H70 data, and also work from the Blue Zones research by Dan Bjötner, which looked at communities with unusually high centenarian rates, consistently shows that having a sense of purpose, what the Okinawans call ikigai, is associated with lower rates of depression, better immune function, and longer life.
And this is not the same as hustle culture. It's not about being maximally productive. It's about feeling like your day matters to someone or something.
Right. For our listeners who are transitioning out of careers or whose kids have just left home, this is actually a really practical flag. Re-establishing a sense of purpose in that season is not just emotionally nice. The evidence suggests it has measurable physiological effects.
If you're in that season right now, whether you're an empty nester or approaching retirement, this is probably the wellness conversation worth having, not what supplements to take.
And since we're on practical, let me mention sleep, because the H70 cohort data on sleep is quite striking. Chronic poor sleep in midlife was linked to significantly elevated dementia risk in later decades, not just tiredness, structural brain changes.
Okay, that one keeps me up at night, which is ironic and also a problem I need to solve.
Right, here's the practical note though. The research does not require perfect sleep. It flags chronically disrupted sleep, under 6 hours regularly, or severely fragmented sleep, as the risk factor. Occasional bad nights are just life.
That is genuinely reassuring. And hey, if this episode is landing for you, if you're finding this useful, please do hit like and subscribe wherever you're listening. It helps us keep doing exactly this, cutting through the noise with actual evidence.
We genuinely appreciate it. Every listener who engages helps us reach more people who need this kind of grounded conversation.
Now, one last thing I want to address, because I know someone is listening right now thinking, okay, but what about diet? And we can't do the full nutrition episode in this one, but the H70 study and the Blue Zones research both point in a similar direction.
They do. A predominantly whole food, plant-forward diet, not necessarily vegan, but one where vegetables, legumes, and whole grains dominate, consistently appears in long-lived populations. The Mediterranean dietary pattern has the most robust evidence base, supported by the pre-dimed trial published in the New England Journal of Medicine.
And the Blue Zones populations largely eat this way, but also they eat with other people, which brings us right back to social connection. It all keeps looping back to that.
It really does. The centenarians in Okinawa, Sardinia, and Nicoya don't have longevity because they found the perfect supplement stack. They have purpose, community, movement baked into daily life, and mostly whole food.
Here's the thing, though. The gap between what the science says and what the wellness industry sells is genuinely massive. And that gap is why the show exists.
Right. So if I had to land on the single most practical takeaway from 55 years of data, it's this. Invest in your relationships with the same seriousness you give your physical health. Not a nice to have, a biological necessity.
Y'all, that's the one. Check in on a friend this week. Have the real conversation, not just the polite one. Schedule the dinner you keep saying you'll schedule. That might be the most evidence-based wellness move you make all year.
And the research will still be there when you get back from dinner, so priorities.
Ha! See you next time on the Wellness Rhythm Show, where we promise to keep it real, keep it researched, and never tell you to manifest anything. The show is part of the VoxCrea.AI system. If you want a show like this for your organization without building it yourself,
Go to VoxCrea.AI and request a sample episode.